So very excited to start this webinar, and this webinar is supported by the USAID through One Health Workforce Next Generation project. And also it is supported by our new partner, Chevron. So before we actually start, I would like everyone to log in into Mentimeter, and the link will be right now in the chat box. And then once you log in through just logging through that link, or you can go to Mentimeter and enter the codes, which will also be in the chat box, then please answer the question, which country are you joining from today? We are very excited to see your answers. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and you see the amazing countries that we are having today. Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Laos, Indonesia, Australia, Tunisia, wow, Vietnam, Philippines. That's great. Well, Malaysia stays the biggest, but Vietnam is competing closely. That's great. I'm very happy to see.
Your screen will be at the can you share it again because we see the agenda?
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Agenda is also important to know. Can you see the countries now?
Yes.
Can you all see the countries? Great.
Yes, we can see that.
So yes, amazing. So many countries, and so excited to see you all guys here. So I'll stop sharing right now. And I want to remind that this webinar is organized for the students who take part in SEAOHUN Regional Students Competition for this year, 2021, the risk of zoonotic diseases. And the winners will be fully supported to participate in the Regional Student Summit next year in Malaysia, hosted by our one of our member networks, SEAOHUN. We are very excited about that, but of course, this webinar is not limited to only the participants of the competition. Everyone is welcome to listen in. It's very important and useful information you'll hear today. But we also hope that this webinar will inspire you to join the competition, and you will go ahead and register and do your fantastic videos. So now, without further ado, I would like to give the floor for our brief welcome remarks from our friends and partners. And the first one, I want to introduce Vipat Kurchitam, Dr. Vipat Kurchitam, the Executive Director of SEAOHUN.
Hi, so good morning, everyone, wherever you are, and good afternoon, good evening for our partners. Warm welcome to an exciting webinar for the future One Health professionals like you, who will make our role healthier and safer from the future pandemic threats. So SEAOHUN is pleased to play a small part of your journey. You may know your country network and what you do, what they do, but may not know much about the SEAOHUN. So let me tell you in brief that SEAOHUN is a regional network of 92 universities in 8 Southeast Asian countries, working collaboratively to develop a resilient and competent One Health workforce by leveraging education, research, and training excellence. So we promote One Health education at our level and foster future leaders like you to be socially responsible with systems mindset and recognize the interdependencies among humans, animals, and their shared environment. So we facilitate the program like the regional student competition to give you an opportunity to improve your One Health knowledge and interact not only with your peers at your university and countries, but with your peers across disciplines from many different universities and countries in Southeast Asia. So we are thankful to receive a continued support from our USAID and One Health Workforce Next Generation Consortium. In addition to that, we team up with the Chevron, who are strong supporter of STEM education, and now also One Health educations to make the competition even more exciting this year. So as Alicia mentioned, with our generous partner, a winning team of each country, we get to come together in Malaysia next year when we anticipate that the international travels will be possible. So I hope that you learn a lot from our speakers today, how to make an impact with a short videos to raise the awareness of One Health issues that you identify. And lastly, don't forget to have fun with the sessions. Back to you, Alicia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pat. And now my special pleasure to introduce Dee Bourbon, Chevron's Senior Social Investment Advisor.
Thanks, Alicia. And to everybody on the call, we're so excited here at Chevron to be supporting this initiative. I've got many other colleagues of mine on the call today who are joining, and what a great way to spend a Friday morning, quite frankly. I'd like to also thank our colleagues from the USAID and also from UC Davis and from SEAOHUN who've collaborated with us to bring you this event today. Now, some of you may be wondering, why does an energy company like Chevron want to work with students across the region? And it's actually because health and safety are part of our DNA as a company. And we do hope that some of you will eventually come to work for Chevron or collaborate with Chevron in your relative countries as well. So we're very excited to be part of the program. And I certainly hope that, travel permitting, I can see some of you in Malaysia next year with your winning videos. Thanks very much, Alicia.
Thank you so much, Dee. And now maybe I will introduce together our really long-term and partners, and very happy to have you with us. Dr. Nistara Randawa, she is the Global Liaison for Southeast Asia region of One Health Workforce Next Generation Project. And same project, Dr. Jabel Dilkiria. He's the Global Liaison for Africa region, but also he's the Students One Health Innovation Club's activities lead for the entire project. So welcome to both of you.
Thanks, Alicia, and thanks, Dee. It's great to be working with SEAOHUN and Chevron today, and amazing to be talking with all of you students. So it's an honor to be here, and I'm just going to be really brief and give you a general outlook of what the One Health Next Generation project is. So we are spread across 17 countries, and we have a network of greater than 100 universities and about 48 One Health student clubs. And the main goal of our project is basically building a workforce of One Health professionals that are equipped with transdisciplinary skills to address complex global health issues. And as you know, one of them is the current SARS coronavirus 2 pandemic. And SEAOHUN's network, all the OHWNs are really rising up to the occasion and doing an awesome job in helping the countries and helping make the world a much better place. And realizing also that it's not just, straight from animals to humans, viruses or bacteria. There are no zoonotic pathogens just jumping directly. There's a complex interconnected network of reasons, of causality, and then of repercussions of human activities. So it's great that everybody in the network is also realizing that and going deeper into problems and understanding what's really happening. A huge component of this project is basically training the next generation of One Health leaders, as I said. And who is the next generation of these leaders? It is you. So as you navigate the waters of your life, what is your story going to be, and how are you going to make this world a better place? I have absolutely no doubt you're all going to contribute to that. So really looking forward to what you do. Thank you. I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Jaber now.
Thank you very much. Wow. Words of wisdom, Nistara. And thank you very much to all our partners. And I'm seeing the number 177 participant. I'm amazed to be with you guys. I'm based in Tunisia, and it's 3 a.m. now, and it's a delight to be with you. I'm so excited to see your videos and all your questions here. I wanted to remind you that the topics that we are talking about are very serious. These are things that are happening in our communities, but I also want to remember you that this activity is for fun. Please enjoy it, please have fun, network, and I believe in you. I've seen what you can do in previous videos and previous competitions, and I'm so excited to see who's gonna win this competition. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jaber, and thank you so much to all our inspiration speakers. We're so excited about this competition. very important announcement to all our participants today. So we have this opportunity for those of you who want to participate in the competition. Today, you can actually win 1 additional point for your team. Well, maximum 2, because you can win a point by winning a quiz, and we will have 2 quizzes today. So, but 1 point equals one quiz equals 1 point. So just get ready and prepare your brains. Go to Mentimeter right now. You will see the link where to go right now in the chat box. And you need to create your avatar right now, your login information, because you will have no time. The quiz will come right after the first set of presentation, the first quiz. And then after the second set of presentation, the second quiz will come. So you'll need to prepare right now and get your Menti account ready. Please name yourself team name _ your first name. For example, SEAOHUN _ Alessia. So that way we will know who will get the additional point once you win. Everybody feel free to participate regardless if you want to join the competition or not, but we will award the additional point to the ones who have registered their team or will register very soon their team for the competition regional contest. So I hope everything is clear. You have already all the links in the chat box. Feel free to ask your questions in the chat. They will be answered. And now let's get started. Our first set of inputs from our experts is called The Road to Becoming an Effective Science Communicator. And let me introduce Una Cho Preston. She is Marketing and Graphic Design Specialist in One Health Institute, University of California, Davis. And Una will walk us through the introduction to effective communication. The floor is yours, Una.
Okay, let me share my screen and let me know if it's appearing correctly. There we go. Can you guys all see that?
Yep,
Okay, great.
Yes.
So hi, everybody. I'm Una, and I'm really excited to have the opportunity to speak with all of you today. I'm going to be giving you a very, very basic overview, and the speakers after me are going to kind of jump more into the meat of things, but mine's strictly the introduction to effective communications. So let's jump straight into it. First off, there are 3 key elements that I think you should be considering before you start any type of communications campaign or project. And this applies broadly, not just for videos. So I have listed here the what, the how, and the why. So let's go into what those are. So the what. What are you trying to sell to your audience? Is it a product? Is it an idea, an action plan, a problem you're trying to solve? And then the how is, how does it work? So that thing you're trying to sell, how does that work? And how do you plan to accomplish or execute the concept you're introducing in the what from number 1? And then lastly, the why. So why is what you're introducing to the audience important, and how does it impact us? Why should the audience care? Because you have to have some buy-in from the audience for there to be any impact whatsoever. And then next, this could be a number 4, but it's kind of its own separate thing, which is why I have it on its own slide, the who. So the who is your audience. So before you start laying any groundwork to any kind of communications piece, you need to identify your audience. So first off, is it a lay audience? Are they veterinarians, government officials, community members, scientists, funders, or is it a kind of a mix of all of those things? And then the other thing you should consider is learning more about that audience demographics interests and their prior commitments. So what do they care about? What do they have a history of caring about or funding? And then how can you make your communications campaign or product appeal to their interests? So it's absolutely key that you know your audience before you really get too into the weeds of what you're working on. And then if you know your audience, you're better equipped for developing that case for support, which is essentially convincing your audience to buy into your message and whether it's even worth their attention or their money. Because a lot of times in science, what you're looking for is funding. And if you've successfully achieved audience buy-in, you basically have effective communications. And next thing that I'm going to go over, and this is basically part one, was the building stones of communications. This is building a pitch, and this is the very brief second half of my short talk. So first off, what is a pitch? A pitch is a short prepared statement that explains the following: what, how, and why. And you probably recognize these from 2 slides ago. It's very similar to just the key components of communications. And they're, again, important in a pitch because a pitch is kind of the boiled down version of your communications message. So we're coming full circle. What is the key message you're trying to communicate? And then how do you operate and plan to achieve the what? And then why should we, the audience, care? And why is it important to build a pitch? Because one, it helps you get clear on key messages. And this is not only helpful for your audience, but you'll actually probably find that it's helpful for yourself and your organization to get on the same page about what the heck you're working on and what your goals are. And then secondly, it helps you outline how to communicate key messages quickly and effectively. So think about, I don't know if most of you have heard the term elevator pitch, but an elevator pitch is basically if you only have 30 seconds to tell someone what you're working about on and why it's important, and you're trying to convince them that, you know, they should do something for you or care about what you're talking about, you only have a short span of time to make that happen. So an elevator pitch is coming up with a streamlined message that you can just throw out at them and not convolute it with too much stuff. So it helps you get to the point immediately. Thirdly, and importantly, your pitch may be your first and possibly only chance to capture and hold the audience's attention. So you better have something that really grabs them in a compelling way pretty much off the bat. Otherwise, you're going to lose their attention, lose their interest, and then your opportunity is gone. And then lastly, it's the starting point for all communications materials. So for this webinar, you're learning about making a video, but if you have a good pitch or if you've worked on developing a good pitch, then you can apply that to any communications project you're working on, whether it's on a website, print materials, especially important for social media campaigns and anything else that's digital. So if you're able to apply these concepts behind building a pitch to your video scripts and your video itself, you'll be able to maximize your message's impact in a really short space of time. And that is my very quick rundown of the introduction to effective communications. And we're going to hand it over to a pre-recorded video from David Wolking. And I think Nistara is going to pull that up. So I'm going to stop sharing. And that's it from me.
Can you see the video?
Yes, we can see it. Thanks, Nistara.
Hey, I'm David. I'm a senior manager at the UC Davis One Health Institute, and we spent the past decade or so leading One Health teams around the world. A big part of what we do is communications. I'd love to be with you guys today, but it's a big day out here in California. It's my son's end of school celebration, and it's my birthday. So here I am, all alone in my Zoom room, but I'm really excited to talk to you. I hope you're enjoying the presentations. Una and Justin are pretty amazing. They wanted me to spend a few minutes introducing a couple tips and lessons we've learned over the years about communicating our work. So One Health approach, it sounds pretty simple, but sometimes it's really challenging to create effective messages and products. So a lot of the work we do, it's technical, right? But we don't have to talk about it that way. If you're introducing a zoonotic disease to a community, you don't have to get carried away. If you're explaining transmission, maybe it's not a great idea to jump down the rabbit hole of virology. Receptor binding sites and viral replication, molecular mechanisms, probably not great. Stick with the basics. This disease can be transmitted by droplets and aerosols, by people coughing, sneezing, and that's why we wear masks. By the way, you probably don't want to advise people to wear masks if you're not personally wearing one. Model the good behavior and best practices. Lead by example. Put your mask on. Sometimes we got to talk about some pretty scary things. If you're on a risk communication and community engagement team, for example, you might have to tell people some hard truths. But it's best to tell that truth, but be thoughtful about how you present it. Saying things like, if you don't follow these best practices, all of you will die. Not cool. Not a good way to do it. While fear is a powerful motivator, it's usually better in science communication to present the facts and evidence-based solutions. Help people motivate to choose to follow the best practices and then become persuasive and influential community champions. If you're talking about ideas about disease prevention and control, maybe interventions to help communities stay safe and healthy, provide some recommendations that are actually doable, and do your research. Learn about the community before you show up and provide solutions. If wild meat, bush meat, it's popular in a cultural tradition, saying things like, don't eat bats anymore because we've linked it to zoonotic disease, that's not effective. Talk to them, learn about bush meat, learn about the wild meat value chain, learn about the risks, and then explore ways to reduce those risks. Don't suggest an N95 respirator, for example, if there's no basic medical supplies. Find ways to work with communities on effective solutions. Like maybe some talented seamstresses in this town or village can make some beautiful masks. Work with them. Make some cool products that people want and will wear. Cheap, affordable, fashionable, really cool stuff. If you're trying to really influence a community, maybe think about engaging a local celebrity, a local champion, like an athlete or a musician, someone they trust and respect. If you want to reach a lot of people, think about talking to local radio stations, TV stations, using media that's effective, community theater, songs like those that were used, successfully in the Zika and Ebola outbreaks. But really, sometimes hearing directly from community members is the most effective. Do some interviews, learn about their experiences, work with them to create their own communication strategies that they can carry on. That's really it in a nutshell. Enjoy the rest of the presentations and don't hesitate to reach out if you want to learn more.
Thanks so much to David. And the next one will be Justin Cox, Communications and Marketing Manager, SEAOHUN Society. And he will tell us how to craft a video story that conveys the intended One Health message well. While Justin is preparing, just a reminder, get ready your Mentimeters. The quiz will start right after Justin's presentation. Justin,
Awesome.
The floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, very good. Thanks.
Awesome. So I'm Justin Cox, and I work at the SEAOHUN Society, which is a program of the One Health Institute up in Washington, a marine science organization. I'm going to kind of take what Una presented on and what David presented on and kind of take you to the part where you're like head down at your desk planning your video, like you're getting ready to go do it. And so you're going to get this form from Nistara, or somebody is going to send you this, that it's kind of just a helpful way to go from, it's easy to have an idea for a story you're going to tell, or like, this is what my video is going to be. But every single other piece of it just feels like a big pile of information, just a big mess of information that it's not going to be effective if you just grab it and just put it all into your video. You need to think about how to prioritize things and organize things in ways that not only inform people in an effective way, but also capture their attention. A lot of like what Una said, you're not entitled to have people watch your video. First of all, you need to earn them. And then second of all, you need to keep them if you want to successfully spread your message. So a lot of this Una covered, but what is the story? You need to have a very simple, succinct answer to that. Here, I'll go to this next page. Who is the audience? Think about who the person is that's going to be consuming this information, or whose opinion do you want to impact and influence, and it could be, in order to have your video have the effect you want it to have, you need to move that audience. So think about them, and then ask yourself the difficult question: why should the viewer or the reader care? I've had a lot of conversations with scientists and researchers who've like spent 3 years on a piece of research and they published a paper, and I'm sitting at their desk getting ready to write an article or something about it. And then I ask them the question, like, why should people care about this? And it feels rude. It feels quite rude, actually. But really what it is it forces them out of like the deep weeds they're living in, and getting them to be like, look at it from another angle. Like, I need to tell this in a way that's from the perspective that makes people care about it, because it matters. They just might not know yet that it matters. So it's not letting me change the slide. Okay, here we go. So you want to think about what the likely questions that audience, so you've thought about that audience. Now put yourself in the seat of that audience, who you want to speak to and who you want to have an impact on with your message. And then on that form that you'll receive, there's a spot where you can write specifically 5, 7, 10 questions that you think that audience might have. And you're going to fully list out those questions. And then now what you have is a good sense of what questions you need to answer inside your video. And so the structure of a piece like this, that's all getting together like the story you want to tell. Now, when you think about the structure, you're going to start off with something that hooks them and grabs their attention. And then you're going to move to what we call a nut graph in journalism, but what is really like the background information. So if your story, the body of your story is going to be answering all those questions about your topic, but there's a lot of times some information they might need for that to resonate. I'm going to show you 2 videos in just a second. And I'll before I show each one, I'll explain to you each of these steps. The first one I show is going to show you a hook, intro, and then the background information before we go into the video. And then the body is always going to be like the main meat of your story, the main information you want to tell. But in order to tell that part effectively, you need to first capture their attention, and second, establish the sort of background information they need. And then the ending, which can be called a kicker, can be, you can naturally find an ending in the body, or you can tie it back to something at the beginning or inspire them toward an action item or something to that effect. I'll show you some specifics to each of those in just a second. If you have questions, you can hold them till later on about any of this stuff specifically. And I'm going to show you a couple of videos real fast. Let's see. So the first one I'm going to show you is, so I work for a marine science organization in the Pacific Northwest. So this is not specifically about One Health. The purpose of this video was to inspire donors to give money, basically to support marine science in this area where they live. And we needed to, it's not going to be effective to say, hey, we're a nonprofit, we need money, can you give it to us? You need to tell a story in that, right? So what you're going to get for the first 1 minute of this video, which is all I'm going to show for this one, because I don't want to eat 5 minutes with it, but you're going to get the hook at the beginning, which kind of tries to take you into the environment. And then you're going to get the background about the organization and the ecosystem we're trying to save. So that's all you're going to get in this first minute. It's really the setting the table for what we're trying to share. So here you go. Take a look outside. We live in a truly special place, and with that comes a responsibility.
It's a responsibility that can transform your life.
It can give you purpose.
It's a chance to make a real difference.
The Salish Sea is home to nearly 5,000 miles of picturesque coastline and more than 400 lush and rugged islands.
It's home to 37 species of mammals, 172 species of birds, 253 species of fish, and more than 3,000 invertebrates.
It's also home to 8 million people, including 2 massive port cities and hundreds of towns strung together by bustling freeways, every bit of it uphill from the sea.
Our global ocean is threatened by massive forces like climate change, and making a difference on that scale can feel daunting.
For 20 years, SEAOHUN Society has worked to protect our beloved slice of that ocean. It's people like you who've made that work possible.
Over and over, year after year, you've chosen the Salish Sea.
You have stood up for this special place and its wildlife.
You have stood up and...
So the purpose of that introduction is really to say, step outside, this place is incredible. And then second, here's everything about it that's amazing, and here's everything about it that's being threatened, and here's who we are as an organization you can trust to invest in, to work toward ensuring that we continue to have it and that it stays healthy. This next one I'm going to play in part. This one I want you to focus on the part where I said you can ask the questions, like what should the viewer need to know. I'm sharing this video because it literally has the questions in the video. Like we structured it in such a way that we kind of pose the questions and we answer them. And really you can picture this video existing without the questions showing up in it. And really it would flow kind of the same way. But I think it really drives home the like, we're going to explain to you this oil spill that happened, the rehabilitation to these pelicans that were oiled. and then we're going to answer your questions about why, how, and why we're tracking them. So here you go.
In May of 2015, an oil pipeline just north of Santa Barbara, California ruptured and spilled 100,000 gallons of thick oil along a 10-mile stretch of coast. Some of the affected marine mammals and birds died, but many others were recovered and rehabilitated. The Oiled Wildlife Care Network's job is to snap into action when oil spills happen to clean and rehabilitate the affected animals. But little is known about how these animals fare after the oil is washed away and they are returned to the wild. How many of them die? How many return to breeding colonies? How does the spill have lasting effects on these animals? The Refugio oil spill presents a unique opportunity to answer some of these valuable questions. The OWCN and its collaborators have attached GPS tracking devices to 12 brown pelicans that were oiled, rehabilitated, and returned to the wild. These tracking devices log 12 locations per day during the daylight hours, and they are solar powered, so the batteries are charged daily by the sun. Each device weighs 65 grams and has an angled front that allows pelicans to dive for fish with little resistance. The devices are worn like a backpack that's attached with Teflon ribbon around the bird's body, and there is a neoprene material that serves as padding between the body and the tracker. Pelicans feed on schooling fish near shore. They fly up and down the coast and spend parts of the year in breeding colonies. The breeding range is from the Channel Islands down to Mexico. The pelicans will be tracked for about 2 years. In addition to the 12 oiled and rehabilitated pelicans, 8 additional pelicans that were not affected by the oil spill are being tracked as well, so that researchers have a control group for comparison. Some critics of rehabilitation argue that the animals are just going to die and that the money could be spent better elsewhere. Studies like this one can paint a more scientifically accurate picture of how these animals go on to survive and reproduce after rehabilitation from an oiling event. Results from this study will also serve as a learning opportunity to help the OWCN refine capture and care protocols.
So yeah, basically the planning stuff that Una and David explained and the document I shared with you to sort of organize your thoughts, take that, and when you go to put it in practice with video, when you talk, for example, about a tracking device, show people the tracking device on video. When you talk about where they migrate, show something that you want video that matches the thing that's being said. So it's really just about planning and then sharing that in your visuals. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Justin and of course to David and Una. These were really amazing presentations. And I hope our friends, students can feel already the vibe and want to start doing it, start implementing. We will take your questions later. Please paste them in chat box. I'm already taking some notes of some questions and we will have time to answer the questions later. And now let's pass to the other very exciting part of the competition, the quiz. And let me pass over to my colleague, Gay. She's part of SEAOHUN team, and she'll guide you through the quiz.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Are you all excited? I see 101 people have joined. So we're going to see how much you remember of what we've heard so far. Okay, we're going to start with our first question. Answer fast and you'll get more points, okay? Let's see. A blank is a short prepared statement that explains the what, how, and why of your key message. What's the answer? 10, 8, 7, 5. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, here it is. Ding, 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 ding. Time is up. And let's see. Most people answered pitch, and yes, most people are correct. Give yourself a round of applause. And let's see where we are with the scores. We are now currently, oh my goodness, Unimas Quartet Tanas has 982 points, but the others are not far behind. Okay, don't worry, we still have 2 more chances. Okay, get ready to press on your devices. Fingers on the trigger. And let's see, question number 2. Answer fast and you'll get more points. What's an important consideration before you begin to craft or create your message? Look at your phone. What's the answer? 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, 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 ding. Time's up. And let's see how everybody did. Most people said your audience, and most people are right. Very good. Yay. And let's see what the score is now. We have, for this question, Farah got the most points. And overall, it's Farah from Group 7. Let's see. Oh my goodness, UPM team is not far, and Unimas as well. Okay. Let's see. One more chance for this quiz. One more chance to get 1 point. And the next question, the question 3 out of 3. Okay. All correct answers will be given maximum points. What should be avoided in science communication? Look at your phone. What should be avoided? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. And the answer is using too many technical words in your message. Correct. And most people did get it. Wow, people are listening to the presentations. Now let's see how people did. What's the score now? What's the score? For this question, again, Farah is very fast and she did well. UPM and Unimas, but the overall winner is Farah from Group 7. Congratulations, Farah. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Congratulations, Farah. And as you saw, many people got the right answers because you could listen well to the presentations, but the fasters really means a lot. So please prepare, be fast. We have a next quiz coming up very soon. Congratulations, good job. And for those of you who have not yet registered for the students competition, SEAOHUN Regional Students Competition, please do so very soon. We'll have the registration extended till 10th June, starting from today's webinar. So we hope to see you all there. And now, the next set of our presentations from Chevron partners. Let me introduce Patar Tundu Yasiri, and he is Communications Assistant Manager from Chevron, Thailand. And he will talk about message planning and external and internal media communications based on experience from Chevron's social investment in Thailand. Patara, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Olesia. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see very well. I believe others do.
Okay. Good morning, everyone again. It's an honor for me to speak to you today at this webinar. Today, I will share with you some tips and thoughts on how to plan and develop your message for external media and communication. I think maybe we can skip the agenda. I think you know by now from our presenter that planning is important, like effective message start with planning, and there are a few steps you should take when you plan for your message. Firstly, you need to make sure that you understand the brief. Actually, this is a step that many overlook, but it's an important step. So you need to make sure that you understand the competition instruction carefully, and you may ask questions you may have with the competition organizer. And this step will give you a clear idea of what this competition is looking for in your video. And the second step is to gather for information. So you need to conduct research on the competition theme. So it can be a simple internet research, or you can talk to experts in the field. This step will give you interesting inside information that can be further developed into your message and to your story or your pitch. And the next step is to brainstorming, like it's time for everyone in your team to work together and brainstorm for idea. And at the brainstorming session, you should discuss key items, including a topic of your video, who is your target audience, what is the objective of your video or objective of communication. You can think of objective as an action that you would like your audience to take after receiving your message. And of course, at the brainstorming, you need to discuss what message you would like to communicate and which channel you would like to communicate your message. But for this competition, it will be 3 minutes video. And also maybe you need to consider your budget and other factor like time constraint, things like that. But it doesn't mean that you cannot produce an impactful video with limited budget. With good creativity, good planning, and well-crafted message, I'm sure you can produce a good video. I would like to talk more on target audience because I think this is an important factor when you plan your message. Your target audience, I would say, is a group you would like them to understand and engage with your message. So before you write your message, you need to make sure that you understand your audience and customize your message for them. So before you write message, you need to analyze the characteristics of your target audience, especially their attitudes towards the topic you are going to communicate in your video. And also, your audience will pay attention to your message if they find your message relevant to them. So before you write your message, you need to ask yourself 2 key questions. The first question is, why does your message matter to them? Why should they care for your message? And the second is that how can you prove with the proof point? I think proof point is important because it can help solidify your message, and it can help your audience understand your message easier. So proof point can be figures, numbers, or story. So it's up to you to find the proof point that you think it will grab your audience attention and can prove your message. And then when you complete the planning process, you need to put everything in the planning process together and turn them into a compelling message. Simply speaking, I think your message should contain three elements, as many speakers said earlier. The first part is the what. This is the part you state your problem and you tell your audience why your problem is important. You should, I recommend you make your problem as specific and concise as much as possible. And the second part is the why. This is the part you offer solution to the problem in the what, and you tell your audience why your solution is effective. And the last part is the how. This is the part you tell your audience what you should do to get to the solution in the why. And when you complete writing your message, don't forget to review and test your message. Testing is important. It would be nice if you can test your message with someone in your target audience group, and you can get their feedback to fine-tune or to improve your message. Now, when you have strong message, I would say it's time to communicate your message to your audience. I think everyone know that the best way to communicate message is via storytelling, because a story will make it easier for your audience to understand your message, to engage with your message, and to connect with your message. I would like to give you a few tips on how to tell your story, to connect with your audience. The first tip is to keep your story simple. Your story should be easy to understand and doesn't contain too many messages. For this video, it's just 3 minutes. So I recommend you have only one strong key message, and every content in your video just connect to this message. If you cannot find key message, maybe you can ask yourself a question like, if there is one thing you would like your audience to remember, what will it be? And that can be your key message. And the second tip is to grab your audience attention from the start. As you know, right now, we live in the era of limitless content, but our audience, they have limited attention span, so they can skip your video in a few seconds if they find your video is not relevant to them. So, and here are a few tips to hook your audience with your story. The first one, maybe you can tell your story in a way that evoke their emotion. And the second tip is to make your story fun and entertaining, things like that. Or the last tip is to use suspenseful narrative to keep your audience follow your story from start till the end. And the last tip is to use nice animation or nice infographic to complement your story, especially when you communicate complex idea or complex theory. Infographic can help your audience to digest your content easier. To give you concrete example, I would like to share with you 2 case studies on how Chevron Thailand craft and tell story of our social investment project to Thai audience. The first case study is the launch of Chevron Enjoy Science project in 2015. This is a large-scale project to improve STEM education in Thailand. And at that time, our communication team was assigned to introduce this project to the Thai public. I would say it's general public. But the challenge for our communication is that this project is full of components, very complex, and the content is very academic. So, but our audience is general public. So when we analyze our audience and plan for messaging, we think the best channel to communicate is to develop a TV commercial. But for TV commercial, we have just only 1 minute because of the budget. So we cannot communicate every details of our project to Thai audience in 1 minute TV commercial. So at that time, we decide that we will communicate only one message, that Chevron Enjoy Science will turn science to be a fun subject for Thai kids. So in the video, we don't tell the audience what this project is all about in details, but instead in our video, we show a footage of kids smiling and asking questions about science in their everyday life. And by watching that video, our audience, they get an idea what in a nutshell of this Chevron Enjoy Science. And if you want to watch the video, you just scan the QR code at the bottom right corner of the screen. And I would say the TVC help us achieve our objective of introducing this project to Thai audience, and it also raise public awareness, which paving foundation for the next communication program that will follow. And the second and the last case study is a video, an online video called Ocean of Love. Ocean of Love was created to celebrate the 36th anniversary of Erawan gas field. Erawan gas field is important. It is a first commercial natural gas field in the Gulf of Thailand, and natural gas from Erawan is an important source of domestic electricity even until now. So this is 36th anniversary of Erawan is an important moment for Chevron or for even Thailand. So we want to celebrate this occasion in a way that engage our audience. So we decide, so in telling the story of Erawan, we decide not to communicate hard fact like Erawan is important for Thai economy, blah, blah, blah. But instead, we try to communicate with a feel good story, but it's based on true story. So Ocean of Love is a story about a dog. He was heartbroken and he decided to jump off the ship to end his life. But he was rescued by Chevron staff in the Gulf of Thailand. So you can see that it's an entertaining story and happy ending story. And then at the end, we show a footage of Chevron Thailand Marine Conservation Project. So the audience will, so with this video, the audience, they see Chevron, the human side of Chevron, and they can see that Chevron is not only supplying energy to the nation, but we also friend with Thailand. We help protect environment, marine environment. And as well, if you want to watch this video, you can scan the QR code, and I'm sure you will like this video. And this video was a success in itself because it generates over 15 million views, I would say. And that's the end of my presentation. And I hope you find this information useful for the video that you are going to develop. And I wish you best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kun Patara. And please keep your questions towards the end. I know many burning questions right now, but we will have the time for questions later on. And now let me introduce Chevron's digital guru, Evan Martin. He is Digital Communications Advisor from Chevron Australia. Evan, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you very much. Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, we do. Thanks.
Great. Okay, thanks, guys. Well, yeah, my name's Evan. I work for Chevron Australia as a digital communications advisor, and part of my role is combining images and video to create visually engaging stories, and that's what I love doing. But so you want to make an impactful video, but where do you start? You've got a blank page. It's sometimes hard to know where to start. In my experience, it all starts on paper, on a document. And that's starting with a plan. So like the presentation, the presenters before me, Una mentioned, the who, the what, the why, the key messages. Justin, showed us the story planner. Patara, talked about, understanding the brief, and doing some research, and you should already know these, when you're heading into your production planning. So you'd want to start to think about, what style of video am I going to create, and there's, this is the way you're going to approach, how you shoot your content, so, is your style of video going to be, based around captions over footage? We see this a lot, in some of the, more approachable social media like Facebook and Instagram. Is it going to be a narrated style video, where you're controlling the message? Perhaps you or one of your team is going to kind of do the audio and narrate over your content? Or are you going to, run an interview? Are you going to, get someone in front of camera using their voice, or are you going to, use hard facts and use you know, go for a more infographic style. You know, and each one of these, you know, there's reasons to do each one, you know, and there's advantages and disadvantages. You know, it's, you know, it's, for example, if you're doing infographics, you know, it's hard to tell a human story when you're just showing numbers and graphs, you know, but, you know, if you're interviewing people, you know, it's a little bit harder and more work, you know, it's a film interview, you got to deal with people and schedules. So yeah, they're all little things you need to consider. But moving on, you know, one of the big things that will really help you organize, especially when you're working in a team, is getting a storyboard down. So, you know, this is kind of like a, you know, a comic strip looking planning document. You know, it's like it's an outline, it's a rough draft, you know, you're taking, you know, you're writing down shots for each scene that you think you're going to do. You're marrying that up with, you know, whereabouts in the script or narration you want specific things. You're going to get specific, perhaps with some, you know, cinematic transitions that you might want to put in there, which we might talk about after. And you also might, you know, include parts of or the whole script in this storyboard where you really plan out shot for shot, scene for scene, you know, second by second, what you're going to do. And that can really pay dividends later on down the track when you edit. So storyboard plus time equals a happy project. But so now we're on to the fun stuff, shooting your content, you know, and, you know, you don't have to have really expensive equipment to get a job like this done. You know, I always say the best equipment, you know, is what you have and what you know how to use. So, you know, your phone is more than capable and up to the task of shooting great content. And there's, you know, but there's also some tips on how to, you know, do a great job of it. And there's tons of short tutorials out there. I'll link to some later on with some links I'll leave you. But, you know, one pro tip is, you know, on your phone, you know, if you're shooting some video, lock the exposure and the focus. So on an iPhone, that's just holding your finger on the screen until it locks on focus. And on Android and Samsung's, there's a little padlock icon. You know, when we're talking about type of footage you want to capture, you know, you want to get a, you know, this is all kind of informed by, again, going back to what you put on your storyboard. So, you know, from your storyboard, you can generate a shot list, and then you can start to focus on what do I need to do to tell my story. So you're going to want a range of things. You're going to want, you know, some wide establishing shots. If, you know, you're talking about a community, you're going to want to think about, you know, some really close up detailed shots, you know, if we're talking about zoonotic diseases, you know, is it kind of looking at things under a microscope, you know, and everything in between. We're going to talk about, you're going to want to think about, you know, is there any stars of your presentation? You know, this could be if you're interviewing someone, you know, not only do you want to capture the interview of the person talking to the camera and giving you your audio content, but you also want to get an idea of what that person, you know, what their day-to-day life is. So, you know, it's capturing that, you know, if it's a person going to work or a doctor, you know, putting on a mask, you know, it's kind of getting those ancillary shots to go with your interview. And then just GV is what we call it, general vision, just other stuff that will help fill out your video when it comes to the next section, when it's editing your content. You know, these are, you know, you've got to draw a fine line between capturing too much content and not enough. But, you know, just getting some, while you're out in the field, it's good to, you know, get some extra footage just in case. But now, like, getting on to editing and publishing. So, you know, if you've been shooting footage on your phone, you're probably not going to want to be editing on your phone. That, you know, you certainly can, but it might get a little bit ungainly and a little bit difficult. But there's tons of programs out there. I'll let you all decide what you want to do. But, you know, some of the most popular ones are from Adobe. That's Adobe Premiere and Rush. You know, there's lots of great student discounts out there for those applications that your university might provide you. You know, on Apple, there's Final Cut Pro, and iMovie. On Windows, there's Video Editor. There's a lot. There's even, you know, free open source software. I'll provide some links to those later too. But, you know, getting down, once you've chosen your program, getting stuck into the edit, you know, if you've stuck to your storyboard and your shot list, then your job is really halfway done. but you still need to be ruthless, focus on only including shots, and footage that really serve the purpose of pushing the story forward. But, there's a saying, if in doubt, cut it out. And almost always with videos, especially ones I create, shorter is always generally better with, the public's ever decreasing attention span. The good tip is to make a quick rough cut, and share it with your team early. Don't get bogged down trying to make it perfect from the first 10 seconds and spend hours. Roughly cut your footage together. You can lose hours making something perfect. And yeah, if you get stuck with footage, don't forget you can always search for and use stock video to insert into your project. I'll give you some links to some popular sites as well. And let's talk about different platforms. So, there's many different ways to send your content out, and, you're going to want to reach the widest audience, really. So think about the platforms you would want to use. So, an example of that is if you're looking to get funding for something, so, LinkedIn might be a great platform to, to focus on, so you could, specifically target a particular company or organization or NGO, and tag them in your content to get it on their radar, and then go from there. And then you can use other platforms, like all the usual suspects like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And also when it comes to platforms, there also is a consideration sometimes when you're getting more advanced is the different type of content to suit the different platforms. So Instagram, you might consider creating videos that are square. YouTube, you want the standard 16:9 letterbox widescreen. And for Facebook stories, it's a 9:16 vertical video. These are all things to consider. So moving on, well, that's kind of about it. And as I'm wrapping this up, I just want to say thanks, for inviting me out to talk today. It was a great honor. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you all can create. So I'm going to copy and paste in the chat some little microsite I created for you all that has some content that kind of links to and expands on what I've talked about today. There's only so much I can show you, by just talking about it, but there's some good visual examples that I'll share with you all that hopefully you find helpful. So I'll paste that in the chat now. I'll stop sharing. And back over to you, Alicia.
Thanks so much, Evan. That was really, really useful. And I really hope that everyone now can feel that it's less difficult than you thought it was. And you're also very, very inspired to make the videos for our regional students competition. So now comes next. Hold on to your questions. I know you have a lot of burning questions, but please just paste them in the chat box. I'm taking notes of all of them. You'll have time. Let's do the other exciting quiz. And people already logging in, and your last chance to win one additional point for our competition. Gay, over to you.
Oh my goodness, look at this. So many people have logged in. I think we're ready to start. Hang on to your devices. I'm about to press enter and we go. Okay, answer fast, just like in the first one, to get more points. What is the key factor you should keep in mind when developing your message? Which is the answer? Okay, time's up. And let's see. Oh, some people said target audience, but the actual answer is all of the above. All of the above. That was a tricky one. Let's see who did well. And our leaders for now are Group Zoonosis Leanne with 918. But look, Suwai Batu is not far, and Maria Angelica. Okay, you still have chances. Yeah? Hold on to your devices. Let's do question number 2. Question number 2. Get ready. Answer fast and you get more points. But answer correctly. What is the name of Chevron Thailand's STEM education promotion project? Be-do, 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 be-do. Uh-oh. 3, 2, 1. Ding, 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 ding. And the answer is Chevron. Enjoy science. And 55 people answered correctly. Great, 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 great. Let's see, let's see. Where are we? Where are we? For this question, the leader is Suwai Batu. Aha. Maria Angelica is also there, so now the standings are like this. There's also a 10 from Group Newbie Doctors that suddenly went up. Okay, one more chance, one more chance. Third question. Let's see how everybody will do. Hold on to your devices, and we are go. Answer fast and correctly to get more points. When planning a short video communication, what do we call the comic book style planning documents that we just saw? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ding, 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 ding. Time's up. And now let's see. Where are we? 88 people said storyboard. And yes, that is the correct answer. And so the one who got the fastest answer for this one, for this question, was against Suwai Batu. Okay, so I think we now know who's going to get the... Oh, so sorry. So sorry. We have an upset. It's Nanda from Group Chakra Wangsa. I hope I said that right. But when we added up the points, apparently they're the group that won, and Nanda is the fastest group member. Thank you very much. We will share the points with you later. Over back to Alicia.
Thank you so much, Gabriel Gay, for leading this. And thank you to everyone who participated. Amazing energy, and thank you so much for your answers. And of course, congratulations to our second winner. So just don't forget to take the screenshot and then claim your points by writing to me. And now I want to introduce a very, very special guest that we have today at the webinar. And just to let you know that any of you guys, the students, could be on her spot next year, because she's the team member from the team who won the competition, the regional students competition by SEAOHUN last year in 2021. Tima Stongara and Jasmine Rizal Sapphire from the team who will share her experience and help to inspire you guys. Jasmine, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Alicia, for the kind introduction. Good day, everyone. My name is Jasmine from Indonesia, and I'm representing my fellow teammates from Team Estungkara. So, it's an honor for me and my team to talk here today. And first thing first, I wanted to share just a glimpse of our video. Please enjoy, and please wait a moment. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see the video?
Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. In the late of 2019, the world has been shaken with a new potential zoonotic disease called COVID-19 that is caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. As of 14th June 2020, over 7 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported from all over the world, causing more than 400,000 deaths. COVID-19 was first identified as an outbreak of respiratory disease cases in Wuhan.
Okay, that's just a glimpse of our video. To check the full video, please go to the SEAOHUN website. So, first, when we're seeing the competition, we are so excited to join because several reasons. The first one is there is literally no boundaries. First of all, the competition is held online. You are free to team up with anyone you know from different educational background. And most importantly, there is no entrance fee, considering the value that you get throughout the process of the competition. Then, throughout the process, we feel
Jasmine, internet sorry for this. The internet sometimes plays tricks with us. Yes. Are you back? Go ahead. No problem.
We'll go ahead with the explanation. The challenges that we get is actually the inability to actually meet face to face to discuss about the video that we want to make. So I believe to overcome the challenges that we get is communication, a good communication throughout the theme. So during the process, we did a lot of talking, discussing the video. Then we did a lot of Zoom call just to make sure that everyone of the team is making a great job and they're in their right track. So for our team, we have 4 members, including me, Angel, Michelle, and Ray. For me and Angel, we are in charge of the content of the video and the script for the audio. So we did a lot of reading journals and publication. And for Michelle and Ray, they are in charge for the video production. So, and then we submit the video. And when the announcement came up and we're lucky to win the competition, we get several benefits from it. The most valuable thing that my team and for myself feel is in-need experiences. Throughout the process, we are learning how to collaborate and mixing our ideas into one video that we feel that would be interesting to see and would be impactful to the community. So I am truly encourage you guys to join the competition because who knows that you might be winning. That's all from me, and we wish you good luck. Over to you, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for your inspirational talk. I really hope all students are very, very inspired now. And hold on your questions. If you have questions to Jasmine, just in a second, you'll be able to voice them out. I have one more exciting announcement to all our regional students competition. One more surprise. We have volunteers from Chevron team who will help to improve your videos if you want to do so. So before you actually finally submit them for the judges to be judged, you will have an opportunity to show them to the experts from Chevron team. Some of you already heard today, Kumpatara and Evan, they will be on this volunteering panel, and they can review and give you some tips and hints how to improve it before you actually submit. Please follow our website for the details of this. And of course, we really encourage you to work very closely with your faculty members, your supervisors. This is the mandatory requirement for this competition. You need to have a supervisor to really ensure the scientific value of your video. So we hope that will work in really good tandem. Scientific advice from your supervisors and also great advice from Chevron volunteers. Really appreciate this opportunity for our students. And one more encouragement to register for the competition really quickly, because those who registered already, we add you guys to our listserv. I hope you already received all the valuable information, and we're going to keep sending you all the valuable information about when, what, how to use this opportunity to get your videos reviewed. Also the form that Justin mentioned, I think he will share with us. So we will send it through to those of you guys who already registered for the competition. So yes, please go ahead and register for the competition. I hope you're all inspired by right now. And now, exciting parts, let's ask your questions to the speakers. And I have noted down the first question that came up in the chat box, maybe already lost with all the messages. So let me just read it out loud. I think it's for Una, because it's referring to the pitch. But everybody feel free to respond as well, of course. What do you mean by impact or outcome of pitch number 3? The impact will be positive and negative impact. Is that correct? So I'll hand over to Una and anybody else who wants to add to the pitch question.
So impact, the way that I was referencing it in the pitch section, is the impact of the thing you are trying to communicate. So if it's something that you're working on or whatever message you have, what is the impact it should be positive, I guess, is how I should clarify it. In this context, I'm assuming the impact of what you're trying to present in your video is going to be a positive thing. Hopefully that clarifies.
Okay, thank you so much, Una. And other guys, students, if you have any more questions, you can press the button of raising your hand or paste it in the chat box. Either way is fine. And I'm gonna read out the next question that I saw in the chat box. So to emotionally connect to our audience, it is best to depict the real life situation of what our audience are going through in the developing of our message. But my country is in lockdown right now, and I wonder how can my team obtain footages or relevant images? What alternative ways can we look into? So anybody from the speakers would like to answer this question?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. Yeah, like just what we're doing now, you know, like, you know, just getting on a Zoom call with someone and just, you know, still having that human to human conversation, but just doing it remotely. You know, we do still do that quite routinely for work we do at Chevron, whether it be while, you know, we're on, sometimes we get locked down for short periods of time, and sometimes, you know, I just need to collaborate with someone in a different country, and it just, you know, I can't fly there with a film crew. So we'll, you know, we think of different ways to do it. And, you know, the world is normalized to, and being used to seeing like low quality screen records, you know, for use in video productions. So yeah, that's a completely legitimate way to, you know, to get those human interactions while not actually being there in person. Just, you know, try and get someone on a Zoom call and just record it.
Thank you so much, Evan. Anybody else would like to add to this from the presenters? There is one related question, I believe. Can our video be animated? And this one I think is also kind of related. Good morning. Could we collect videos from internet as materials for our videos? As we concern, it would be an issue of copyright. So here's a copyright issue comes in, and animation for the videos. Who would like to answer this question?
Oh yeah, I'll kick it off. Yeah, I mean, it seems, yeah, and you know, animated videos are great. You know, yeah, if you've got those skills, you know, I'm not a great animator. You know, and infographics sometimes can take a long time, but you know, you can certainly tell a good story using that approach. And yeah, as for copyright, yeah, it is a touchy subject. You can't just you know, for videos for wide distribution, yeah, you will come into issues if you are wholesale copying other people's content. You know, there is, I've pasted some content in the chat that links off to some more information about fair use. So give that a read. You know, that goes into how you can use small snippets of information, or if you are using snippets, then, you know, clearly labeling, you know, who the original content creator is when it's on screen is an approach. But yeah, just read up a bit more about that. It can be a little touchy, and also depends on what content you are copying. You know, if you're copying, if you're putting 10 seconds of footage from a Disney movie, then yeah, that'll get flagged real quick on any of like on YouTube or any of the other major social media platforms that have deals with big companies like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Evan. And I just want to read a little paragraph from our guidelines for this competition. So team must obtain written consent or permission if they were to use any copyrighted materials in their videos, like songs and images. And we do strongly encourage you to use open source materials or create your own. And it can be an animation if you're capable of doing so. Why not? Justin, you want to add anything to that?
I'll give a endorsement of the tool Evan shared. I think I'll share that with some of my coworkers, that the link that he shared has a lot of really good information. But yeah, the stuff they said, like, people are acclimated to seeing interviews via like screen recordings on Zoom and Skype and stuff now. And then you can go, I do understand that, like, if there's work happening in a lab that you want to depict, or work happening out within a crowd of people that you want to depict, there's a challenge that might not be happening with that group of people. And I think you just have to step back and creatively think of another way to portray it. I mean, I think people understand that, that we're in kind of a moment like this, but there are other ways to show things, and you could even just acknowledge it in the narration or as part of your video that it's like taking place in this current reality we're living in.
Mm-hmm. Thanks so much, Justin, for this addition. I actually want to voice out one more question that I actually got on my emails once we announced the competition, but I think it's quite valuable for everyone to hear. So do we need to explicitly state our problem statement and specific audience in the video? And I guess this question also goes to Justin or whoever wants to answer it.
Can you repeat it again?
So the student is asking, do we have to explicitly state our problem statement and our audience in the video? So let's say I'm starting my video by saying, this is for school students and the problem is this. Do we need to do this in our videos?
I don't think you need to do that. I think it's a very good step for you as the person making the video to just really get clarity about what that problem is and what your story is going to be. But no, in the actual moment, you don't need to, but you also you can though, like you can really like you can even see this in like a movie or something, right? If you watch a Hollywood movie, a certain one will just play out in front of you. You're not really aware of how much time is going by exactly and everything, but it plays out and you understand that there was a flow to it. Whereas another movie you watch will tell you the date, and then it will go forward these many years and it'll tell you this, and it'll tell you the city, and it'll say 5 years later. And these are things that are like orienting you, but you don't have to do that. I think you do want to do it for yourself to just have clarity for the story you're telling. But then if there's a way to tell it without having to like really, really slam that home specifically, it's not required to like have that in there or anything.
Thank you, Justin. Anybody else wants to add to this question?
Well, yeah, I could probably just add, for all the social media channels, you've always got, a video with the content, but you've also got usually a title and then a description. So, you could always, put that very specific reasoning for that video in the description, and then, but let the video be creative and talk for itself. You don't, I would keep it out of the video content, make it and creatively tell your themes and ideas.
Great. Thank you so much, Evan. And I'll read another question from the chat box from Vanessa Marie Sumagang. Can the concept be a combi of wildlife and zoonotic disease featuring underserved communities and their interactions with animals? So this refers to our specific requirements of the competition. We have 3 teams, all related to zoonotic diseases, but little different angles and different topics. So she's asking if she can combine the subtopics in one video. I can answer, but maybe somebody from our One Health Workforce Next Generation team would like to also jump in and answer this question. What do you think of that? Ms.
Yeah, I can add. I absolutely think that it can be a combination because no subject is, by itself in isolation. Everything is connected. So chances are whatever you choose to make your video on, there's going to be themes, different underlying themes that are touching on the other themes as well. You choose what you want to emphasize on within that topic. But yes, it can be connected, definitely.
Thank you so much, Nistara. Yes, I totally agree with Nistara. Everything is very much connected. You can weave in the gender context as well in this, so to cover the third topic. Could be very complicated though. But when you submit, you need to choose under which topic you submit. So whatever you feel that stands out most in your video, you will point that out for our judging team for them to be aware. Otherwise, you feel free to touch as many aspects as you like. Okay, another question from the chat box from Mike Queen. My team had already chose 2 topics, therefore we will separate in 2 different videos, or will we combine it together to make a 6-minute video? Yeah, so this is a good question. Yes, you can, according to the rules of the competition, you can submit up to 3 videos. So you're not limited to only 1 video. You can make up to 3 videos, but each video has the limit of 3 minutes only. So yes, you will need to do 2 separate videos and up to 3 minutes each. Okay, and if we have any other last burning question from anyone, you can just raise your hand if you want to ask it. Otherwise, if not, our SEAOHUN team will stay a little longer for you guys to answer specific questions on the competition and how and what to do about the competition. But we would like to give a big round of applause to all our speakers today. They're really amazing information. Thank you so much, everyone. And just very little time, but yes, I want to pass the floor over back to Nistara, Pat, and Dee to give some closing remarks very briefly. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, Alicia. I think you said my name first, so I'm just going to go ahead so there's no confusion. I want to thank all the students, first of all, for giving us your time, trusting us with your time. And I hope you absorbed a lot of the good stuff that all the speakers shared today. I think it was really beneficial. It was really awesome. Thanks so much to the speakers. And also all the people behind the scenes who made this possible. We see you, Alicia, but there are so many other people, in SEAOHUN and in our team, and I'm sure for Chevron who made this possible. So thank you so much. That's it from me. Have a good day and a good evening.
Thank you, Nistara, and I'll pass it over to Dee for the closing remarks.
Congratulations to everybody to getting through this webinar, and I wish you all the very best of luck with your video. I know that we're looking forward to watching them and providing some feedback to whichever teams want to do that. And thanks again to the SEAOHUN team who put a lot of effort in today to get this webinar organised for you. We're thrilled to be part of this project, and we hope you all have a great fun time making your videos.
Thank you so much, Dee and Chevron team. And now over to Dr. V. Pat.
All right, so thanks for staying through all the 90-minute session. So it's just great, exciting. Congratulations to the winning team, 2 of them, for taking through the quizzes and get the extra point. Thanks for all the speakers and the support that we receive from both the USAID, One Health Post Next Generation, and the Chevron. So very exciting, and look forward to see your amazing videos. And I'm sure that the judges will have a very difficult time making decisions as who's going to be a winners. So thanks. Looking forward to your submissions. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day. And if you want to ask your specific questions about the competition, stay on. But otherwise, bye-bye to everyone.